technical glitch.
Something
Okay.
happened, yes.
Okay. I thought it was me because it couple of times also happened on my connection,
Oh,
but
okay, okay.
um, so Mas Firman, if you don't mind to play the PowerPoint again, thank you very much. So we were
Thank you.
discussing about the three main components of the SHARE program, and we reached at the last one, which is the credit mobility, the ASEAN credit transfer system, and the scholarships. So through this SHARE program, the EU is providing scholarships for ASEAN students to undertake exchange among ASEAN countries. So we could go to the next slide. What are the eligibility criteria in order to participate in these scholarships? First is the national of ASEAN member states in the SHARE program, considering that the program is funded by the development cooperative instruments. So therefore, the funding is only intended for developing countries, including the Philippines, Indonesia, and the 8 ASEAN member states. But these scholarships are not eligible. The funding itself is not eligible for students from Singapore and Brunei Darussalam. Nevertheless, students from Singapore and Brunei Darussalam, they can participate in the SHARE program based on or using the government funding, their own government funding, or the university funding. And the second one, on the previous stage of SHARE, it is only targeted for undergraduate students in the ASEAN participating university. I will explain to you, and Jocelyn already mentioned in the Philippines which are the university. And the third one, at least the student have finished 2 semesters at the home university where you are studying. They have not finalized in their final year. There are still credits to be finished, so they can participate in these scholarships. The next one, we can see how the application process, how Firman and Jocelyn went through the application. So basically there's the ASEAN credit transfer system, well, this platform providing all the applicants first to apply through the platform. So the first one is the applicant will receive endorsement from their home university that they will apply for the SHARE scholarships. And second one, the student then will be able to choose which university that they are interested to study, and then this university are listed in the SCTS platform. And the third one, if then the host university, the university that they will go to, accept their application, then they will receive the letter of acceptance from the host university. And then the fourth one is to apply for the SHARE scholarship. And there is a committee of the SHARE scholarships who will then review all the candidates who have applied for this scholarship. And number 5, there will be selection of the awardees by the scholarship team. And then number 6, the SHARE scholarship will be awarded. At the moment, we can see on the next slide that basically there are 32 participating ASEAN universities, and these universities are nominated by the Ministry of Education for each respective countries of the ASEAN member state. You can see from Cambodia, from Indonesia, basically Firman coming from Bogor Agriculture University, and then we can see on the next slide, if we can see the University of the Philippines. There's University of the Philippines, University of Santo Tomas de la Salle University, and Ateneo. This list will be expanded during the 2 years extension, but certainly the EU will be waiting from the ASEAN Secretariat and also the Ministry of Education, who might be able to provide the recommendation which other universities that will be joining the next stage of SHARE. And the next slide on number 8, what are the scholarships coverage given by the EU to the SHARE awardees? Basically the living allowance, the return airfare, the health insurance, the settling in allowance, the study material, visa costs. The tuition fee is waived by both universities, so it is not part of the EU scholarships. So that is from me. Back to you, Carissa. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Firman.
Thank you so much, Ms. Destriani. Okay, so since we're done with the presentation, we can now proceed to the question and answer portion. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of questions. Let me read them to you. Okay, there are a lot already. Okay, for a while. Okay. Okay, so First question is, what is the, well, I think this has been answered. The EU shares about, Ms. Destriani already mentioned this. Okay, how can our institution join share?
Yes. So, for example, that maybe perhaps there are universities in the Philippines who are not listed in the SHARE program. The best way is to talk to the Ministry of Education in the Philippines. What is it called, Carissa? Higher Education
Commission on Higher Education.
Commission of Higher Education, right?
KED.
Yes. So your institution can approach to the Commission of Higher Education and then mention this as the interest to participate in the SHARE scholarships. In the next batch, we will open the discussion again at the beginning of next year. So then the Commission of Higher Education then will select which other university that can be added to the list. So hopefully your institution can also be considered by the Commission of Higher Education. Thank you. Back to you, Carissa.
Okay, so you already showed to us from the Philippines the schools that are part of the European share. So does that mean if they're not from those 4 schools, they are not eligible? They are not eligible to apply?
Yes. In the meantime, because this is a pilot program, where we are testing the credit transfer among universities. At the moment, it is only the listed students from the listed university can participate. I think it is worth to mention that in the future, this program, once this program in the next 2 years, we will discuss the name of the scholarship. It will not no longer called SHARE scholarships. It will be named as an ASEAN single brand scholarship. So we will wait from our ASEAN colleagues to name this scholarship to be like an Erasmus. So in the future, we hope that it will be open for everyone in ASEAN, where the ASEAN member state will also contribute to the funding of these intra-ASEAN scholarships. So it will flourish like Erasmus in Europe. Well, in Erasmus in Europe, perhaps maybe some of the participants also aware, the Erasmus scholarships in Europe started from the exchange among European countries. And then it becomes successful and big, and then the Erasmus program is expanded also to countries outside of Europe. So this is what we envisage for ASEAN. Hopefully with the support with the EU, then ASEAN will also grow these SHARE scholarships in much wider, much bigger, which will involve much young generation in ASEAN to go for intra-ASEAN scholarships. Back to you, Carissa.
Okay, thank you. So I hope that pushes through eventually, that it would be offered to all ASEAN countries. Okay, so
Yes,
it's a question here is it only available to undergraduate studies? Is there an offer for master's or doctorate students?
Yes, let me reply to that. At the moment on the first stage, yes, it is only open for undergraduate, but we are thinking of opening up, sorry, to master's degree also, but not to doctorate. A master's degree, hopefully during this 2 years extension, we will be able also to provide intra-ASEAN mobility for the master degree. For the doctorate degree, so for all the audience who might be interested to participate or to obtain funding from the EU for doctorate degree, you can visit the EURAXESS, EURAXESS, EURAXESS website. It provides variety of scholarships for doctorate degree. And with that, in that website, they offer so many opportunity for that part. But for this year, it's only a short-term mobility among intra-ASEAN students. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Destriani. Okay, a question here. Is there an age limit to apply? And a second to that, can we pass the opportunity to our children if we belong to those schools you've mentioned? Is there an age limit to apply?
I give these questions to perhaps Jocelyn.
Okay.
Jocelyn and Furman, maybe they could answer to this question in their experience. Is there age limit among their
Basically, there is no age limit among the to apply the scholarship, but it depends on the university that you applied for. Because the first step that you have to apply is you get the LOA first. So it depends on the university you applied for. Maybe the university have the minimum age or another. You can choose the university that you want. Like usually the university required you to finish minimum 2 semester in the university as an undergraduate student. So as I see in the requirement of the university, they don't have the age limit, but it depends on the university that you applied for.
For us, they advise that you should at least be 18 years old because you're going to fly on a plane on your own. So below, if you're 16, 17, you can't fly on a plane by yourself in the Philippines. I mean, that happens. So they advise you to at least be 18.
So this makes you study abroad. Therefore, you really have to have that age limit of 18. So I assume, Jaslyn, you started at 18, given that you're only 22?
I started at around roughly 19 years old
19.
that time.
Okay, so there are a lot of people just joining us now, so they were not able to see your screen, Miss Destriani. They're asking if you have particular requirements or qualifications to avail of the scholarship.
Again, I would like to give the opportunity for Firman. So maybe, Ms. Firman, you could explain the requirements that you experienced so far.
There are only 4 requirements that share scholarship need. The first one is the LOA from the university, the leading university in AU ASEAN countries. Second is letter of endorsement from your home university. The third is your passport. And then the last one is the transcript of record. So basically only 4 documents you have to submit in the share platform to get the scholarship.
Okay, regarding that, since you mentioned the transcript, is there a minimum number of completed academic units to qualify for the scholarship for college?
No numbers, but you have to finish at least 2 semesters in your university. So if you are newcomers in the first year, you cannot apply for the scholarship. So you just can apply the scholarship if you are in your second year, I mean, the university.
Okay, so they have to render us 1 year here first before they go elsewhere. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I think this is from someone from the Big Four. If a student comes from a different branch of the listed schools, can they be eligible for the scholarship? Example, one of the schools listed is De La Salle University in the Philippines. Can a student from De La Salle, Dasmariñas apply? So De La Salle University in Taft Avenue, that's the main campus. So Dasmariñas is in Cavite. So is that the same? Are they both listed?
There's a high possibility.
Go ahead.
No, Jaslyn, go ahead. Yes, Jaslyn might know better. Yes, thank you.
My friends from UP Los Baños is not the main branch in Diliman. They get to go,
Yes.
they get to apply. This would vary per university. It's just gonna be a bit harder for you to process because the processing comes from the main university. So for example, if you're from Los Baños, you process your papers to the main campus again. So you have to like be a bit more prepared for it, but it's possible.
Okay, so the entire system mentioned, okay, so all the systems of UP, but they still go through the main, which is in Diliman. Okay. So,
Carissa, can I add also something?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So for the audience, especially for the members or students of the listed university, so the next batch, the batch 6, will start in the middle of 2021. So it means that the announcement will start at the beginning of 2021, so you can start preparing your documents. And batch 7 will start at the end of 2021. So maybe the announcement will start in the middle of 2021. So get ready, and especially would like to encourage many students from the Philippines to apply, because we see that there are still many opportunities for the students from the Philippines. We have not seen as many as the other ASEAN member states, so hopefully we will be able to have more Jocelyn come participating in the share scholarships. Thank you, Beck.
Okay, so I know, Destriani, that we have to ask CHED regarding possible partnerships for schools, but some are asking, what are the requirements for schools to partner with Share?
So basically, from the EU, we don't provide any specific requirements. We give that authority to each Ministry of Education to decide. So it depends on their judgment, on their consideration, which universities to be recommended. But I would suggest that the university or institution approach the Commission of Higher Education in order to be able to see the eligibility, who can participate in this program. For us in the EU, we would like to have as many universities as possible to be included, but certainly it is not our decision to do that. So we leave and we liaise with ASEAN Secretary, Ministry of Higher Education on that issue.
Therefore, all schools should write to CHED, your ministry, our Commission on Higher Education.
Yes.
So the
Commission
question,
on Higher Education, yes, I would suggest so. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so a question here is, how long does the SHARE program last? I mean, how long does the studies last?
1 semester, so it's around 5 to 6 months. I stayed for 5 months, but I extended to 6 months because my thesis advisor told me to go for a summer program, so I studied again for another month there. Can I just add for the requirements?
Sure.
It's I really advise to contact the International Relations Office of your respective universities, because they will have their own requirements for you to apply for the university. They would know most of the application there, and they'll be able to assess you better. And I can actually leave my email in the chat if you guys need, for like, I'll contact the other alumni from.
Go ahead.
So that you guys can also ask them.
Thank you very much, Jocelyn. Okay, I think Mohammed and Jocelyn could answer this. I'm not sure. I don't recall this being explained earlier. Will I still be eligible to the scholarship even though I am not a Laude graduate? Do you need to be an honor student for you to apply?
No, you don't need to be an honor student. It's okay for like, it's advised not to have any failures, definitely, because it'll be harder for you to apply. But grades wise, it's okay for you not to be an honor student.
It's open for all students in the university participating.
Okay, so that's good news. Everybody has a chance. Okay, so, okay, no more questions yet. Okay, what advice would you give to applicants to prepare for a successful SHARE scholarship application?
Perhaps I would start first, and then Jocelyn and Ferman can continue.
Go ahead.
So first of all, for the participating students in the listed university, you should really see the deadline for the application and prepare well in advance the requirements that you will have to submit. And sometimes each university have their own requirements, so you have time to prepare that. And then also prepare the documents very well in order to be able not to miss anything. And then, so I'll give it over to Jocelyn and Ferman to add.
So an advice is really, please make sure your passport is okay, because it expires 6 months, okay, before the actual expiry date. Apply for that one first. Other than that, look into the visa processes. That's a definite also. You have such a limited amount of time to apply for the visa of the university you want to. Really research into which university you want, because only the ones that were allowed in the SHARE can be the university you choose from, and they would have various applications. I'm honestly going to say that my international office helped me so much in applying. So yeah, those are my advice.
Maybe for me, like you have three chances to get the LOA. So you can apply for three university and get LOA from three universities. So you have to do some priorities. The first one is you really want to go to university, and the second layer, and the third layer. So you can apply it for the university, like three university in the share platform, if you got the three LOA from three universities.
Okay. So the three, do they have different requirements? For example, if you're going to choose different tiered universities?
It depends on the university that you applied for. Like some university require you to have health certificate, some others not. And some have like motivation letter and recommendation from three lectures, and some only one. It depends on the university.
Now that it's COVID, I'm not sure who would be able to answer this. Maybe it's Ms. Destriani. During this pandemic, how would we apply for that? Would it be all online?
Yes, I'm sorry, excuse my cat in the screen. So basically, it is for the share program, it applies through the SCTS platform. So in the beginning, it is online. So everything is done online. Until then, they depart to the country. So we really hope that all of us should hope that by the time that the next share batch has been awarded, the awardees can then depart to other ASEAN countries. But certainly, no problem since the beginning, it is online application.
Okay, so online application, but the program itself is face-to-face?
In the previous batches, it is face-to-face program because there has no COVID cases at that time. COVID has not occurred at that time. And when COVID occurred, then the program has an interim stop at the moment. But we will start again next year. So we hopefully that the student will be able to participate in face-to-face classes. Thank you.
Okay, since you mentioned that the batch 6 will start next 2021, am I correct?
Yes, in the middle of 2021, yes. But the selection will start, or the process, the announcement will start at the beginning of 2021.
Okay, so how many scholarships does the European Share grant?
Yes, very good question. I forgot to mention. For the batch 6, we envisage 150 scholarships, intra-ASEAN scholarships, and then for batch 7, also another 150 scholarships. But we still try to add the number of scholarships, but we need to negotiate that with our ASEAN colleagues and also with the universities. So in the beginning, that's the minimum number that will be provided. The scholarships will be provided for next year.
Okay, so roughly 300 for those batches. Okay, so
yes.
I have a question. Either of you could answer this. What happens after the share program, after it ends? What's next?
So Jaslyn and Firman, let me respond to that. Before the program ends, we already envisage that this program will continue. The ASEAN Credit Transfer System platform will be operated by an ASEAN institution, and this will happen quite soon. And then so we will hand over the system back to the ASEAN institution. And second, about the management of the scholarships. At the moment, the scholarships are managed by the consortium headed by the British Council. And this is also envisaged during these 2 years that this management of the share scholarship will be managed by an ASEAN institution that will be appointed by the ASEAN Secretariat and also senior official meeting on education. And we will discuss about it, who will take over the management of the scholarships. And as I mentioned also, the one big thing is that ASEAN will decide what is it called, ASEAN brand scholarship in the future. So hopefully this will continue, but everything will be managed by ASEAN institution. Back to you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, I think that's all the questions we have. Any last words for our participants?
For me first, and then continue with Jocelyn and also Firman. So for me, I think I'm very grateful to be able to share this information to all the audience. And thank you very much, Carissa, for the University of Wesleyan for hosting us. And then for the EU delegation and the Philippines for organizing the European Higher Education Fair. Hopefully this information will be very useful to you. And we really hope that next year we will have many, many more applicants from the Philippines. Then maybe to also, especially for our alumni, for Jocelyn and also for Firman, thank you so much for sharing your information and for joining us today. Back to you, Karis.
Okay, Jocelyn, Muhammad, you want to say anything to our participants?
Okay, thank you so much for listening, and honestly, thank you for so much for hosting this. And please, please, please try to apply. Even if you don't try to apply, you can just contact us. Like if your university is not there yet, we can try to help out. As in, after all of this, we keep in touch with some of the share staff, so we could give them a heads up if you need any.
Okay, so I think you have your contacts in the, okay, how about Muhammad? I'm sorry.
Thank you. Maraming salamat po for hosting this webinar. Hopefully, maybe next batch, the Philippines have a lot of awardees because last time we just a few from the Philippines. So I hope you guys have a lot of awardees from the Philippines.
Yes, hopefully you can visit us soon. Thank you so much, Destriani, Jocelyn, and Muhammad for sharing to us the European share. Okay, so I have
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I have to share this attendance sheet that, well, it's a QR code that you have to take a snapshot of. Okay, dear participants, kindly take a screenshot of this. I am sure they would want to email Muhammad, Jocelyn, and Destriani regarding the European Union Share program. Thank you very much. It was very insightful. We learned a lot. And we hope to see you soon. Hope to partner with you soon. Thank you so much.